Cape Town Sevens is always a major event, getting a chance to play here at home. How are things going in terms of how it's been organized?
Yes, good afternoon, Nandi, from the mother of all cities. I can tell it's a bit overcast here in Cape Town today, but I can tell you it's not dampening the spirits here. Fans are slowly trickling in here. I think people are knocking off at work and they're making their way to the iconic Cape Town Stadium. It's day one of the Cape Town 7 series here in Cape Town, and the tournament is back after an absence of 2 years, obviously because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and organizers are quite excited ahead of this tournament this weekend. What is rather concerning, Nandi, is that there's a lack of attendance just this weekend. I've been speaking to some of the administrators here, and they're only expecting around about 10,000 fans here on day one. And I think it's got to do with load shedding. It's also got to do with the fact that fans are struggling to afford the tickets here today. I've also heard that for the next 2 days, for now, only 50% of tickets have been sold. But yet, administrators from World Rugby, they are still very much confident that they'll have a festival this weekend. We spoke to the director of the tournament, Mr. Doug Langley, earlier today, and this is what he had to say.
We're obviously concerned about engaging as many fans as we can, and to be fair, the South Africa Rugby have pitched the ticket prices at reasonable prices. You can get reasonable price tickets, over the weekend as well. That will give you a better deal. So that they have been pitched at a relevant price in terms of everything going on economically and the load shedding, etc., etc. So I think people find it something that they can do.
Yeah, Percy, hopefully we will start to see a bit of a bigger attendance for the matches. But another disappointing issue, we saw the Springbok women's sevens with that loss against Australia. It was a huge loss. What do you think went wrong there?
No surprises there though, Nandi. I must say, they played against Australia, a side who are the current World Cup champions. They are also the current holders for the series at the moment. So it was expected that as an African side who's still trying to put a marker down in the women's game, that they were going to struggle against this Australian side. They are the informed side when it comes to women's rugby, whether it's the 7 side or the 15 women's side. But they were also hampered by a number of injuries in the build-up to this tournament this week. They lost 4 of their first choice players and had to replace them with 6 debutants in their squad of 13 players. One of the players that I'm looking forward to is Cesar Hele. She was the player who played number 8 in the 15-man World Cup squad who played in New Zealand, and she was a standout player there in New Zealand. But the question is, how will she and her team perform this weekend? They're obviously playing against Ireland later this afternoon. Another big clash for Renfred Dazen and his Chargers.
This is an important event, Percy, particularly this year for the Blitzboks. They couldn't manage a World Cup trophy there in Cape Town, and they also haven't won the Cape Town Sevens since 2015. Granted, there were those 2 years that were absent because of COVID-19, so it would be really, really great for the team and for South Africa if we did win the Cape Town Sevens, wouldn't it?
And that's what the South African team are hoping for. Obviously, after that success in Dubai last weekend, beating Ireland in the final, they're hoping to take that momentum into the Cape Town series. And just a correction, Nandi, they're opening their tournament this evening at 8:03 against Canada. Obviously, on paper, an easier match. But then come tomorrow, they'll have to face off against Fiji, one of their biggest foes in sevens rugby, and they end off their group stage in a match against France. It's 2 tough matches. They'll have their work cut out in this group. But I believe the Blitzboks, they've got the momentum. They'll have to build on that momentum and hoping to make it out of the group into the knockout stages here at the Cape Town Stadium.
Yeah, Percy, you do talk about that Pool A. I mean, Fiji, France and Canada. What on earth are the Blitzboks going to have to do to go past those teams?
The one thing that the assistant coach, Philip Snyman, said is that they should not be carried away with playing in front of their family, playing in front of their home fans here at the Cape Town Stadium, because like you rightfully mentioned, the Blitzboks have lost 1 year in 2015 in that inaugural tournament here at the Cape Town Stadium, the very first tournament here in Cape Town. But the fans, some of the administrators, they believe the Springboks, the Blitzboks for that matter, can do it in front of the home crowd. Nandi, I just want to talk because I was being bombarded here by one fan. She's insisting to talk to us, and I find it very strange. She says she's the biggest rugby fan, yet she's wearing an Australian team, a team that beat has beaten the women's side. Why exactly are you supporting the Australian side though?
I wasn't planning to support the Australian side. Wednesday, they surprised us that in Menenberg, they called my coach and my coach like 10 o'clock the night Tuesday. She like private message, I have to come meet the Australian girls because you are one of the top players of our group. We're going next year to Malaysia as at the K-Flat Sevens was now. And so they said I have to come. And then I came, we went to Menenberg was now. And then we met them and then they must now talk and learn our skills, what to do and what not to do in a game and what you mustn't be scared and stuff. And then they sponsored our tickets today and then I felt like wearing my t-shirt today because they signed it. This is Dominique. And then I got Emily, the Olympic gold winner. On my player t-shirt on my number 9, like that.
Well, clearly this fan is really excited, not so much about the Springbok side, but about the Australian side. Nandi, we're going to have to leave it there. All the action is building up. The excitement is building up here at the Cape Town Stadium. There's music galore. And Nandi, I must confess, the smell of braai vleis is luring me in a different direction. So for now, I'm going to have to hand it back to you in the studio until we prepare ourselves for that big clash this evening against Canada around about 3 minutes past 8 this afternoon.
Go get that braai vleis, Percy. Thank you so much. We'll chat to you a little bit later on. That is Percivale Young out in Cape Town.